Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens alongside Jay Plyburn.
Good Friday Eve, everybody.
Friday Eve.
Changes coming once again?
Yeah, changes coming to the forecast, and we're really going to get an active end of the week when it comes to the weather. It's nice this afternoon, but tonight, not so much.
Well, as you're saying, the past couple of days, the time in between the pockets of wetness, if you will, has been still warm and pretty nice outside.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a fan of summer weather, this afternoon is really going to deliver the summer weather. We're talking sunshine, 80s out there, kind of muggy a little bit. But you know what that sets the stage for?
The storms.
Storms tonight. 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day will be in place as we head into this evening. It's the first of two. There's one tonight and one tomorrow night. This, unfortunately, for storms that'll be coming after dark across the region. We're talking really after about the 10 o'clock hour here across central Ohio, really even after midnight for a number of spots. Wind and hail going to be the two biggest concerns, but we can't rule out the tornado risk either as we head to this evening. Make sure you're staying connected out there. You have the 10 TV app downloaded on your phone. You'll get any of those weather alerts as soon as they're issued. And if you're not watching this on 10 TV Plus, download that on your TV. You can find it on your Roku, your Apple TV, your Fire Stick, all of those things. You can watch for free any of the extended storm coverage we might do as those storms head our way later today. When it comes to storm impacts, again, after 10 o'clock tonight, wind and hail we think are going to be the highest risk factors. We did bump the tornado risk up to a medium category as well, but we still think that's going to come in below the wind and the hail. But we do have to watch out for that potential of a tornadic storm this evening. So again, make sure you're staying weather aware, especially as we head past sundown tonight. As far as the way the day started, it has been a great morning out there. We saw plenty of sunshine across central Ohio. Temperatures much like what they were yesterday, fairly mild to kick things off in the low 60s to upper 50s across central Ohio. The reason our temperatures are staying so mild is the humidity, the dew points. There's a lot of moisture in the air that's not letting the temperatures fall below that 60-degree mark, and that's going to help fuel some of those storms come later today. As far as the afternoon goes, again, pretty quiet. We will see cloud cover increasing as we get past, say, about 1, 2 o'clock. That's when we could see a pop-up shower or storm, kind of in the peak of the heat during the afternoon hours, but those, for the most part, should be few and far between and aren't expected to bring any widespread severe weather threat. As we get deeper into the night, though, that's when those storms come our way that could bring us those severe chances. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on weather after dark tonight. Again, make sure you have a way to get weather alerts before you go to bed. If you're outside during the daytime, another bit of caution is with the sun. Our UV index up to a level 9 for today. That's very high. You definitely need to have the sunscreen as you head outside, sunglasses, cover that exposed skin because the risk of sunburn is certainly quite high as we head through later today. Of course, all of that is before those rain chances move through tonight. We're sitting at about a 60% chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head through this evening. That risk actually goes up as we head toward tomorrow and the second round of severe storms up to an 80% risk Friday evening, Friday night. We definitely have to keep a close eye on that. A few showers could linger into the start of the weekend, but then we're dry by the time we head towards Sunday before we start to push those rain chances back up again as we head through next week. Big picture of satellite radar early on Thursday. You can see a lot of the clear skies across central Ohio. It's not hard to see why we're going to push those temperatures up into the 80s later today. The storms that'll head our way later tonight, not actually developed as of early Thursday. Those will have to come in later. Here's the hour by hour through the first part of the day. Again, you see that small risk this afternoon. Pop-up shower, pop-up storm. This isn't really going to be a widespread threat if we do see a pop-up come together later today. Could it be gusty? Maybe a little bit, but again, few and far between. Once we get into the evening hours, the cloud cover still sticking around, still quiet by 8 o'clock. But as we push past 9, 10 o'clock, that line of storms comes through central Ohio, racing across the region, really pushing even through Columbus by about midnight and off to the east by 2 a.m. This is going to move through pretty quickly as we head through 4 and 5. Could see a few lingering storms up to our northern counties, but even then those storms start to push out by the time we head toward daybreak on Friday. And then we kind of get into the same pattern again. Quiet weather throughout the day Friday into Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon, temperatures like today up into the 80s once again. Could we see a pop-up maybe a stronger storm. Yes, again, but that would be few and far between. The bigger risk for severe weather comes Friday evening, really after 7 o'clock. Widespread rounds of storms pushing through, some of those that could be on the strong to severe side. Again, with all types of severe weather possible as we head through Friday and into early Saturday morning, likely to be another active period for storms. I think what we see Friday night into early Saturday, more widespread, possibly a little more likely to be severe. Again, this comes in after the 7 o'clock hour. The strong winds, the hail, we push those up a category from what we have for tonight. They are in the elevated category as we head into Friday night. Flooding also bumped up a category as we head into Friday night. A lot more rain expected from the system on Friday compared to tonight, and the risk for tornadoes remains about the same. Not the focus, but certainly a concern as we head through those rounds of storms. Of course, with so much severe weather in the forecast in the next 48 hours, I do want to go ahead and remind you guys the difference between a watch and a warning, just so you have that on hand as we head into this afternoon. Watch means conditions are favorable for storms to occur, but they haven't yet formed. You're being told to watch out for those storms. A warning, that means the severe weather is occurring or is about to occur in the next few minutes. This is the sign to take action. Warnings are that much more serious category that you really have to pay attention to. And of course, if any of those come out later today, we'll be here on 10 TV Plus with all of the information that you need. Your 10 TV weather impact 7-day forecast includes those two 10 TV weather impact alert days for today and for tomorrow. We'll break down those risk factors again for you here across the region tonight. It goes into effect after 10 o'clock. Strong storms, a possibility into the early AM hours of your Friday. Make sure you're ready ahead of time. You have the 10 TV app downloaded on your phone. And again, have those alerts enabled so you can get them no matter where you are. You get them as soon as they come out. Friday night, this one starts a little bit earlier in the evening, but goes through a similar phase. Friday night, 7 p.m. into the early hours of your Saturday. Possible severe storms. Again, the need is to stay connected ahead of those severe storms so that you know when any of them are headed your way. As we head into the rest of the weekend, rain chances, they will linger into the start of Saturday, but we should be on a drying pattern from about that point forward. Those temperatures will drop through the 70s as we head into early next week. We're dry Sunday and Monday, at least for the most part, but then Tuesday and Wednesday next week, we bring those shower and storm chances back to the region.
So not a total washout for the weekend, just kind of keep that rain gear handy the early part of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got Friday night plans, those are the ones that are really the most in danger. If you got something outdoors after dark Friday, plan on having an alternative ready to go, because I think a lot of stuff is going to get rained out, canceled, and or otherwise impacted on Friday night.
Saturday night looks okay to be outside.
Saturday night looks really good. I'd head outside Saturday night. That's not a bad one. But yeah, tonight, tomorrow, definitely got to stay weather aware.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Springtime.
Indeed, springtime in central Ohio. And as we sit in the heart of severe weather season, with hurricane season inching closer as well, the roles of FEMA and the National Weather Service, they're only growing more important. And typically they have conferences this time of the year to learn better response techniques. But this year, a key player is nowhere to be seen. Ethan Stein has that story.
From afar, there's no shortage of first responders at the governor's hurricane conference. But take a closer look and you'll find classes canceled across the board.
We want to stay on top of things.
We connected with John Cernis at the conference and learned he works for a company helping governments get money from the federal government to fund disaster responses. Multiple trainings from FEMA being canceled, he says, makes it harder for him to understand changes.
If we mess it up, then the opportunity is there for them to lose funding. So we want to stay on top of things.
Federal funding cuts could wind up having an impact.
The city of West Palm Beach put out this video last month about the cuts. In it, the assistant fire chief and emergency manager for the city, Brett Bloomfield, says the federal government is canceling trainings all over the state.
We're starting to see at these events where they're stopping the classes. They're not having not funding the training as of right now.
We reached out to FEMA and the National Weather Service. NWS says it did not go to the conference due to travel restrictions, but says it remains committed to informing state and local officials about changes for the 2025 hurricane season through trainings at a different location and online.
There's constant changes to these regulations.
Back at the conference, officials are still trying to prepare, but those methods are changing, even at a well-attended conference.
Now to some environmental news. The federal government is weakening its stance on keeping PFAS, or forever chemicals, out of your water. The EPA made that announcement less than 12 hours ago. This limits the Biden administration, or the limits that the Biden administration had put in place on 3 types of chemicals will now be scrapped, but standards will be kept for 2 of the more common chemicals. The EPA says this move will provide time for utility companies to comply. And turning now to Boomtown and the environment, more people in central Ohio are turning to solar power. And as the demand for solar grows, one Ohio facility is powering up energy 1 panel at a time.
We are the largest single-site solar manufacturing panel in North America. And who would have ever thought in Pataskala, Ohio, that this would be here?
A rate of 2.5 panels coming off the line every minute that factory is producing. We'll go inside, illuminate, and dive deeper into why more people are turning to solar. Tonight's Boomtown story to save money in the long run.
I want to say once we've had it for 9 years, it'll have paid for itself. And after that, it's just free money. So
can't beat that.
We'll also explore more about why Ohio is leading the country when it comes to this solar manufacturing.
At the end of the day, they're corporates that need access to low-cost electricity. They need a strong workforce. They need a government, a local government that is welcoming and receptive, and Ohio fits that bill.
10 TV's Angela Ann dives deeper into the pros and cons of solar energy, and the boom takes us exclusively inside America's largest solar manufacturing facility. That's again in Pataskala. Catch our Boomtown story tonight on 10 TV. Cool is that?
Solar energy is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be watching tonight.
Yeah, I would love to put solar in my house, but I rent, so I can't do it. But
it's a gray area, really. I mean,
who's going to stop you?
Maybe they would give you a kickback on your bills if you installed some solar panels. Yeah. A little bit of an initial cost up front. We'll probably learn more in the story about the initial upfront cost versus the savings. But more people are doing it. Out of Pataskala, too, of all places, manufacturing them.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that story. And with more on our environment, here's the latest from CBS News Climate Watch.
We're keeping an eye on the climate. Here's what you need to know. Last week, CBS News confirmed the EPA plans to end the Energy Star program as part of an agency reorganization plan. The program was created in 1992 by George H.W. Bush and helps consumers and businesses save energy through more efficient appliances, electronics, and buildings. According to a national lab estimate, a typical household can save about $450 a year on energy bills by choosing Energy Star products. According to a new study, the smoke from climate-fueled wildfires contributed to thousands of U.S. deaths over 15 years. Between 2006 and 2020, wildfires driven by climate change caused about 15,000 deaths and $160 billion in health damages, with the worst impacts in Oregon and California. And finally, Hawaii just passed a first-of-its-kind law that will increase taxes on hotels, vacation rentals, and cruise ships to fund climate resiliency projects. Officials say the new tax could generate as much as $100 million a year. That's your Climate Watch. For the latest on climate and environmental news, go to cbsnews.com and follow us on Instagram at CBS News Planet. I'm Jesse Mitchell in New York.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Heavy storms dropped lots of rain on the East Coast earlier this week. Wow. That video there shows floodwaters ripping through Westernport, Maryland, Tuesday. This video just shows how strong those floodwaters can be. That's a scary situation there, Jay.
Yeah, it looks like ocean waves in there in some parts. It's just moving fast.
Yeah, I mean, once you get into those, especially like hillier areas, that water can just collect quickly into those river basins, and look at the speed of that. That's why we tell you not to drive.
Just thinking about that, people still try to drive through that sometimes, and it's just a terrible idea every time.
I mean, that 10 out of 10 times that river's going to win. So don't do it. And sticking with Westernport, we don't often get to see this here in the Check This Out, but this is video a day later in the aftermath of that flooding as tractors pumped out floodwater and crews cleared debris. This was Wednesday. The flooding took place Tuesday. Several of those hard-hit areas in western Michigan western Maryland having to recover. Officials say 3 emergency shelters were opened as roads throughout the area were closed from the flooding, including several major arteries. According to the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, the population of just under 2,000, Westernport is located in that far western part of Maryland.
So the waters receded pretty quick, I guess,
Yeah.
with the help of manpower there.
Yeah.
They got a muddy mess now.
And the river's still really cooking there.
Still
even though it's
flowing,
come
yeah.
down. And I mean, that's kind of the big danger with flash flooding like you saw there. It's in and it's out quick. So if you don't get out of Dodge when those warnings come out, you don't got a lot of time to respond.
Nope, and that can make for a tricky situation.
Absolutely. You know, we have our own threat for potential flooding, not particularly tonight, but more tomorrow when we have heavy rain. So make sure you're staying up to date on the latest forecasts. And part of that will be joining Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz later tonight as he breaks down the latest on our 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Days.